future peace and security and the well-being of the United States. These are scoundrels. They are demagogues and scoundrels. That's my word for the reactionary Republican Party. They are a disgrace. They're a threat to the peace of the world, and they're now thoroughly isolated because they're not just arguing against Obama. They're arguing against the PERM 5+1 plus EU. Again, half the world right there or more, depending on what you're counting. So it's time to get busy. And in particular, people who are considering running for office, this is an issue to run on. Remember that economic development, economic prosperity, and peace go together. If you insert war into that equation, as LBJ found, you can't have guns and butter. You will have guns or butter. Therefore, you will have guns. Therefore, no butter and economic decline. So push hard on this issue. Now, with this, it's also interesting, Obama, since he had nothing more to lose politically, has moved to normalize with Cuba, moved to normalize with Iran. Now, Obama, fire Newland, fire Rice, I would say, and get moving on normalizing with Russia over Ukraine. Why not? These are the Lausanne Accords. I don't want them to become the new Locarno of the 1920s, right, which was an attempt to secure a peace order, but which failed because it was sabotaged. Now, in the Middle East, the fall of Tikrit, this is a turning point. It is a watershed. The myth of ISIS invincibility is gone. The entire Anglo-American Wurlitzer, right, the propaganda apparatus of our dear friends in Wall Street and the City of London, had been attempting to build up over a year or more the idea that ISIS was invincible, that they were supermen with magical powers, sophisticated, formidable, oh boy. But now we see it's a bunch of nonsense. The Iraqi army ran away. Why? The Iraqi army has a tradition of being bribed. They were bribed by the U.S. way back in 1991 to run away. They've been bribed by the Saudis. So more recently, just in the past year, it was bribes from the Saudis, from Qatar, from the Emirates, and so forth that got those Iranian generals to run away, and therefore the resistance collapsed. You can hear the sour grapes. They don't dare come out and say, boo-hoo, our ISIS asset is being smashed up by the bad Iraqis. They do, of course, complain about the Iranians taking part, and they do, of course, complain about the Shiite militias. But the sour grapes, you can hear it between the lines. And how dare they? They've been telling us ISIS is the end of the world, chaos, delirium, the collapse of everything, hell gapes. Well, along comes the Iraq army, some Iranian advisors, and some Shiite militias, and suddenly the big issue is, oh, will they go on a killing spree, and so forth. This is simply a propaganda line. ISIS, I guess we can compare it to Tamerlane in some sources. Timur Lang, right? Timur the Tartar, you know who it is. In the around 1400, or slightly before, this meteoric rise, right? ISIS has had a meteoric rise, just like Timur the Tartar, Tamerlane. But then, as soon as it reaches its maximum extent, it begins to collapse back together. So that, I think, is quite possible, provided that the pounding keeps up. But in the meantime, we've now got the Houthi forces from northern Yemen fighting against the Saudis, right? We're told today that the Saudis have bombed the Russian consulate in Yemen. Bad idea. Bad idea. Don't do it, you Saudis, right? The Saudis are courting disaster. And maybe this is the way that the Saudi regime will pass from the page of history, to coin a phrase, right? That the regime holding Riyadh and Mecca will pass from the page of history. They may. Remember in the bombing of Serbia in 1999, the attack on the Chinese embassy and consulate was a big, big deal. This is another very big deal. And we'll see some reactions. But in the meantime, everybody in the Middle East except Oman, by certain counts, is now at war. Now, within all this, Charlie Rose has another interesting discussion with Hafez Assad. I would recommend that, Bashar al-Assad. I would recommend to the Syrian government that they put President Assad on television at least once a month, maybe every 2 weeks, to give briefings and to explain the situation. And maybe they can do better than Charlie Rose, but he seems to have accepted the idea that they've got to refrain from the usual editing practices, right? The usual kinds of manipulation of the text. So Assad says, first of all, that he is ready for talks with Kerry. Kerry had made a somewhat ambiguous statement about 10 days to 2 weeks ago, saying we might have negotiations with the Assad government of Syria. Yes, you should do it. So Assad says that he's cautiously optimistic about dialogue, but he says, you have done all these things to us in the meantime. Right, here we go. Assad says, we are always open for talks. We never close our doors. They should be ready for the talk. They should be ready for the negotiation. We did not make an embargo on the United States. We did not attack the U.S. We didn't support terrorists. Back in a minute.
The human body is extraordinary. Despite all the stresses we inflict upon it, it still works hard to stay in balance. Thousands upon thousands of people rely upon Heart and Body Extract to help their body stay balanced. This excellent 100% natural herbal formula helps maintain healthy blood pressure levels, cleans arteries, promotes good circulation, balances cholesterol, and more. HB Extract, paired with healthy lifestyle choices like good nutrition and exercise, can give you a life free of pain, sickness, and fear. Recapture your youthful vitality and experience your body healing itself with the aid of HB Extract. It's extremely effective and it starts working in just days. Visit hbextract.com to learn more and to read scores of testimonials from satisfied customers. And we've never increased our price in over 10 years. That makes Heart and Body Extract as great a value now as it was the first day we sold it. A healthy heart is a happy heart. Call 866-295-5305 or go to hbextract.com.
By now, you may have heard a bit about Bitcoins. But did you know Bitcoins are now over an $8.5 billion market? And did you know that over 65,000 businesses now accept Bitcoins? Listen, if you're already earning Bitcoins or trying to make money in the Bitcoin market, you've got to know bidbit.co. Why? Because bidbit.co is where you can easily receive Bitcoins by selling and auctioning off your own personal items or promote business products and services for Bitcoins. You heard right. Whether personal or business, you can now buy, sell, and auction your products and services quickly, easily, and securely for Bitcoin at bidbit.co, the first and only marketplace website to offer Bidbit Escrow, a proprietary technology which gives buyers and sellers security and peace of mind because all transactions are protected. Start today. It's free to join, free to post, free to auction, and free to bid at bidbit.co. Buy, sell, bid, or auction everything Bitcoin. That's www.bidbit.co, bidbit.co.
Most people know that drinking pure high alkaline pH water is the most important factor in maintaining high energy and vibrant health. Most experts agree that the water you drink should be at a pH level of 8 or higher. AlkaVision Plasma pH drops combine a unique formula of the most alkaline minerals. Using plasma pH drops is the best way to make your water alkaline to help you get rid of acid and regain your health and energy. Simply put 10 drops in the water you drink to raise the pH to a healthy level. Alkalizing water helps your body rid itself of acidic waste and increases the oxygen content of your body. Disease organisms like bacteria, viruses, and cancer cannot survive in an alkaline high pH environment. Order your bottle of AlkaVision Plasma pH Drops now by going directly to alkavision.com. That's ALKA Vision.com. Or call 269-409-1776. 269-409-1776 today.
In an unpredictable world, it's good to know you are in control of food, your greatest dependency. Go Foods are storable for 25 years, quick fix, non-GMO, kosher, health store quality food at discount store prices delivered to your door. Go Foods is there when you need it most. Feed Your Frida package is available with up to 3 months of food for free. Call Go Foods at 1-800-648-9753 or on the web at www.storefoodnow.com.
Hi, this is Ted Anderson. Have you ever wondered why banks, stockbrokers, investment advisors won't talk about gold IRAs? They've been available since 1986, yet the financial industry won't recognize the value of gold for your retirement. Gold has outperformed paper investments, yet no word about IRAs. If you would like to have gold for your retirement, call 800-686-2237. Don't get left behind by rising inflation and low returns. Call 800-686-2237. Secure your future and call 1-800-686-2237.
Free from the shackles of corporate America, we're the place for independent thinkers. GC.
Welcome back to World Crisis Radio. Webster Tarpley here in Washington, D.C. Now, we're just going through this very interesting interview with President Assad of Syria by Charlie Rose. And again, he says, we didn't attack you. We didn't support terrorists who were attacking you. The U.S. did these things to us. We have always wanted a good relation with the United States. We have never thought about it any other way. It's a great power. Nobody in his right mind would think of having bad relations with the United States, says Assad. However, you don't dictate our form of government. That's not going to be part of the dialogue, says Assad. It's not your business. We have Syrian citizens who decide this. Nobody else. Whether the U.S. wants to talk about it or not, that is something we will not discuss. And let's see, a couple of other things that he says are quite interesting. Essentially, he says, hey, the West, especially the United States, do not accept partners. They only accept followers. Even Europe is not a partner of the United States. Let me be frank. This is the problem they have with Syria. They want somebody to keep saying yes. They're looking for yes men. And he goes on. The West used to have puppets. In other words, they are accustomed to having puppets, not independent leaders or officials in any other country. That is the problem they have with Putin. They demonize Putin because he can say no, and he wants to be independent because the West and the United States don't accept partners, only followers. That is the issue they have with Syria. So concerning Saudi Arabia, he says essentially the Wahhabite ideology of Saudi Arabia is the same identical ideology as ISIS. Exactly, definitely. ISIS, Al-Qaeda, Al-Nusra, it's all the same. It all comes from the Wahhabite books. Concerning Turkey, Erdogan, he says, Erdogan is a Muslim Brotherhood fanatic, someone suffering from political megalomania. He thinks that he's becoming the Sultan of the new era of the 21st century. He could, in response to a question, Assad says, yes, he could stop the border. He could close the border between Syria and Turkey. Of course, he ignores the terrorists who are coming into Syria. He supports them logistically, militarily, every day. What do the Russians want, says Charlie? They want to have balance in the world. The Russians wish to be a great power and have their say about the future of the world. More than justified. So there we go with that. So the situation is that Kerry Kerry, get going. Open talks with Assad and fire anybody who gets in the way. Fire